Well, we're back looking at the Rotisserie Roadrunner, as I guess I'm kind of calling it now. Quick recap as to what's led up to this point. Last time we got this car up on the Rotisserie, ended up doing a few different things, and between last video and this video, I pulled the rear end out, and then also we rolled this car outside and blasted the underside of the car down mostly to bare metal. A lot of it was down to original primer, original paint, and really getting the surface contaminants off, as well as, getting it prepped for a sealer primer situation. So I got a little ahead of myself off camera, and I'll just show you guys what it's looking like under here right now. So I don't know what you guys think, but I think it looks really good. Obviously, it will not be staying black. We don't really do things like that around here because the car's not going to be black. If the car was going to get painted black, I'd leave it just like this and maybe do another coat over it, make sure it's good. But what I ended up using is an Ace Rust Stop paint. So it's a direct to metal paint and primer in one that is supposed to be a rust converter and neutralize and do all kinds of different stuff, and it should work out pretty good. So what we're probably going to end up doing over top of this is, obviously there's some stuff that needs to be fixed. The wheel wells still need to be cleaned up and stripped. The bottom wheel well, I got some of the sandblasting done. Top wheel well, I didn't get anything done, so that's going to be a little bit of a process. But once that's done and a few other things fixed here, I left this alone because this needs to be worked on in the corner here a little bit and needs to be cleaned up better before being sealed up. But yeah, once we get a few more things done, then we'll be able to, do the wheel wells and then that lower trunk extension piece, as well as fix up a few little things here and there that we've got to do, which isn't really much, but it's all that little stuff that adds up over time. So this car is going to be painted on the underside just like it will be on the outside. It will be painted the original B7 blue, and it will not be undercoated. This is kind of the first kind of barrier layer, and this stuff sticks really well. It goes on a little bit thin, which is fine, because it's going to get top coated with probably a epoxy primer, and then on top of that a actual paint. So we'll see how a couple things line up. It's definitely going to be a cool thing to see this more, really kind of getting somewhere. So we're going to get this car rotated around, knock some more of the sand out of it, because anybody that's done sandblasting knows that you're going to have to rotate the car back and forth about a dozen times, and you're still not going to get it all out. So that's definitely a fun process. But I ended up talking to a local guy that does chemical dipping, as well as kind of like a heat treatment that bakes stuff off of metal. And I talked to him. I've always brought him, K-members and suspension parts and wheels and small stuff. And he's very reasonable and does a very good job with it. And I asked him, I said, if you ever feel like expanding, let me know, because, I'd do a whole car. And he said, well, why not? Let's do it. And I said, you really could fit a whole car? He said, yeah, as long as it's not too big. He's like, I could at least do a good chunk of a car, if not a whole car. He said he does race car chassis for people. So I was like, oh. So the next car, whatever that car may be, might be getting a little bit of a better process done. But we learn as we go and we figure stuff out one piece at a time. This car definitely has been a learning experience, to say the least. But let's get a little closer look at the actual coating here. It's really nice. Most of this is a day old. I did some of it today. I did some of this kind of front section today, but most of it is pretty nice, and it feels like it's hardening up really good overall. It's got a nice shine to it, which doesn't really matter because, like I said, we're going to top coat it. We're probably gonna have to go through with one of those Scotch Brights and scuff it all up, and then paint over top. So we'll see how that goes. But we've got a little bit of pinholes and stuff to deal with down there, a little bit of body work, a little bit of stuff here and there to finish up before we get to that point. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it goes. And like I said, I didn't get the whole thing to bare metal. I didn't get every last little tiny thing off of it. You see these little drips right here. I didn't take these off. I should probably have taken them off, but I didn't. That's actually factory drip marks from when they painted the underside of the car from the factory. Like I said, when we blasted this, we went over the whole surface pretty lightly. We stripped a lot of little angles and nooks and crannies to bare metal wherever we could, but wide open areas, especially this, trunk pan piece here, we just went over it and basically cleaned the surface more than anything else. So yes, there is some original paint underneath that, but it's been there for, I don't know, 55 years, 56 years now. I'm not too worried about it doing anything bad now. So we'll see how a couple things all line up. Like I said, we're just taking it one piece at a time. So I don't know. I just keep coming out here and looking at it, and it's just, to me, it's kind of a huge accomplishment. But definitely we're gonna get it painted because we don't have black underbodies or engine compartments like the Ford and Chevy guys do. So we're gonna do that body color, and maybe in the future we'll do a car or two or something where maybe it's a less involved job where it's just an exterior paint job, and maybe just use this product or something similar just to seal up the underside. That stuff's possible and it looks good. But for this, rotisserie restoration, literally, we're gonna paint everywhere that we can. And then we also had one of our painter and bodywork guy friends come out here, and he's going to work on these rockers because they got some issues, and we could do it ourselves, but he's got a little more experience in that area than I do, so I'm happy to let him work on that a little bit as well. So as far as what's next, we're going to be looking at what other areas do I need to hit with the rust converter primer paint stuff, and what areas can just go with epoxy primer. We've got a few spots to clean up in the engine bay, so we can get that all done. I think I got to clean this underside. It's got some surface rust, a little bit more in here, and I should have done some more of that when I was working on the blasting side of things, but I just didn't and ran out of time and materials and a whole bunch of stuff. So definitely some more cleanup to do kind of everywhere, but yeah, that's kind of it. And next week we should be able to spray some epoxy primer on the roof, engine bay, maybe the underside too, and we'll really be able to get this thing ready to accept some color hopefully in the near future. So anyways, I just want to give you guys an update, tell you guys what's going on with this. I know some people are interested in this and some people are more interested in the make it run videos, which we do both. So anyways, definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already. I think the statistic I have is like 26% of you are subscribed or something, which definitely like to build that number up a little bit more. So, and then just quick other stuff going on here. The trunk is pretty clean. I don't know what I'm going to use on the trunk yet. This is all original metal, but it is got some deep pitting in areas here. So I don't know if I want to go through and get a little bit of glazing putty and smooth some of those pits, or if I just want to leave it and let it show how it is. I don't know what we're going to do with that yet. And then, like I say, there's a couple little spots here and there. There's a little pinhole right there. There's a couple little spots to be finished, but it's getting real close. And then the trunk, like everywhere else on the car, will be painted that B7 blue body color, and then here's a kind of a shot of the color. So, and I'll be able to go through with a Scotch-Brite and whatever other sanding stuff I might need on the whole floor and the inner panels and all this stuff. And I don't know if we can go just straight to adding more paint or if we got to go with an epoxy and then paint. I'll have to talk to my paint guy about that and see what he suggests. So anyways, that's pretty much it for the most part. I definitely appreciate you guys watching. It's been a long road to get to this point, but we're really kind of just getting started. So anyways, I'm going to leave it there, and I will see you guys in the next video.